Okito. Wait, I don't want to record the audio on here. I could just take the audio off. That's easy. Easy money. Okay. Okay. We are recording now.
All of it?
What?
All of it?
What do you mean?
It's all recording?
We're starting.
Oh, okay.
It's going.
Okay.
Right now.
Okay.
It's happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Good. Okay. All right. So, yes, here we are with a podcast episode. Who are you?
I'm Stephanie. You guys have heard me. I've been on here, but not on here.
Not on the podcast.
Not on the podcast. But if you watch videos.
My Pokemon videos.
Yes.
Our spicy noodle video should be up by now. So she's on there. But you hear her. She does she has like a few ASMR videos also on the channel. That's her little whispers. Yeah, it's Stephanie, my girlfriend.
That's me.
She's my guest today, and what we're gonna be talking about is I pulled some stuff that I wanted to talk about, just off the cuff.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, yeah. So I told you already off camera what we were gonna talk about, but first thing I want to talk about was this has already been out for like a minute. We already saw it. We saw it in theaters. It's been out. Or it's not. I don't think it's out.
It's not on DVD or video yet, but it was released in theaters before the coronavirus happened. It was one of those movies that came out. One of the last ones, I think.
Right before Corona hit, yeah.
Right before.
It was one because we saw that one, and then we saw Sonic, and Sonic was the last one we saw before Corona, I think. Because Sonic came out.
It was one of.
Okay, well, we're talking about My Hero Academia. Yeah. Heroes Rising, the new My Hero Academia movie, which I was like, I need to do like a video on this. I need to do like a review on the movie. I thought the movie was dope. I liked it. I thought it was nice. We saw it in Japanese and English.
Yeah,
so that was interesting.
Both languages.
So that was interesting. But yeah, I just never got around to doing the review. It's one of those like videos that I'm just like, I need to do this video, but I never like end up doing it.
Yeah.
So
I remember you're like, I want to do a review.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna ruminate on it.
Yeah.
Ruminate. You're gonna think about it.
You just made a new word. Let's just go with it. Ruminate.
And then you never got around to doing it.
Yeah, I never fucking did it.
I don't know if you did a Sonic review. Did you?
No, I didn't fucking do a Sonic review.
Yeah.
I was trying to. Yeah, no. No, I didn't do a Sonic review. I wanted to, and I was like down, and I was about to set it up and everything. But for some reason, I think it's because I have a 9-to-5 job too, so it's not like I go. I have to really like. The good thing is now with like Corona and quarantine, I don't know. Like I think I have like different like, motivation. I'll take naps, but like when I get home for most of the part, like the most. Times I'm excited is when like I come home and I have like stuff to work on, or like on my days off where I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to edit this video, or record this or shoot this. I just have a lot of fun making content. I think making content's a lot of fun for me. It's what I look forward to. Other than my 9-to-5 job, I'm honestly not looking forward to. No disrespect to shout out Rim's Deli, but it's just not. You know what I mean? I thought it was going to be one of those jobs where I was like, I can keep this up for like a long time. We'll see how long I can keep it up. But if YouTube like takes off, then I hope that's one thing. Because I just have so much fun like editing, making the videos and all that stuff. But yeah, Sonic was one of those videos that I never got around to making. So was the My Hero movie. So
it's not that you don't want to. You just don't have like the
it's just
time
like sometimes some videos are easier to make than like other videos. So like some videos I have to. So for like for example, we're going into this. The My Hero Academia movie review and the Sonic movie review, for example, they're movie reviews. Usually what I used to do when I used to do more movie reviews, when my channel first started up, all those early subscribers, you know what I'm talking about. I used to do like reviews on every single movie I used to watch. I go home, write notes, what I liked, what I didn't like, just talk it through in my head about the movie, about exactly what happened and all that stuff. The problem is every time I was like, okay, I need to write this down on my phone, take notes or whatever. I never got around to doing that, and only because I never pushed myself to do it. Only because I was like, I'll just do it off the fly, like off the cuff. But like writing it down for stuff like that makes it sound a lot more articulate and more professional when you're doing the video. So you know exactly how to transition from like what's good, what's bad, and all the in between. And I just never really got around to doing that. So, and I don't know, like I didn't want to shoot the video and have it be like off the cuff entirely because I didn't want it to be like again, sound not professional. So a little gist of like the creative process of that. But the My Hero Academia movie, it's been out. I'm patiently waiting for it to come out on Blu-ray, or just home DVD or whatever. I want to watch it again so bad. The moment we watched it, the first time and the second time, there was one thing like I wanted to talk about. Like, obviously the whole movie, but I mean like. You might have an idea of what I'm talking about.
I don't know if I do.
I said it when we talked about the movie after it was done. So like, if you haven't seen the My Hero Academia movie, I'm gonna spoil it. So now's your chance to.
Spoilers alert. Guys.
Now's your chance to pause, find it online, find it somewhere, buy it. Or whatever, or just wait until it comes out, then come back. Because I'm going to go into spoilers right now. So, the ending of the movie.
Okay.
Deku is saying bye to the little kid.
Your theory.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Now you know what I'm talking about.
That's a theory, not a part of the movie. Like, the kid is a part of the movie, obviously.
I just mean, like, it is a part of the movie in the sense that the theory is based on what happens in the movie. So in the movie there's the kid. I don't remember his name. Do you remember his name?
I don't.
So like
I do know that his sister and him say each
so
other's
what's the
names
gist?
a lot,
Yeah,
though?
what's the gist of like the movie though for people that don't know?
Can you ask me?
Yes.
So basically
While I look this up.
the students, the UA students, they are sent, and I think it takes place after they do.
After Overhaul. So
it's after the Overhaul.
If you're watching the
arc.
anime, yeah.
It's after that, and they're sent to a separate island so that they can be technically the heroes of this island. It's because no.
I'm saying I think it's after season 4. Because in the movie, Deku uses some moves that you hadn't seen before while we were watching the anime.
Yeah.
So it's after season 4.
There's things about it that I was confused because I was watching in the middle of the Overhaul arc. So I wasn't, like, familiar with certain techniques, certain storylines, which I think you knew because you read the manga. And so I was in the dark on there. But they're sent to this island because their island doesn't have a hero anymore because the hero got too old. And so they sent these kids over there, which are the main UA kids. And there are these two islanders, I guess you can call them that live on the island. They're very young. It's a girl and a boy, and they're brother and sister. And they're technically taking care of themselves because their dad is like a driver or something like that. I could be very wrong in remembering this incorrectly, but basically all the rest of the islanders are taking care of them, and they're taking care of themselves.
Yeah. So in this movie, they like stumble across these two kids that Stephanie was talking about, and the kids I think are called Mahoro and Katsuma. I think Katsuma is the boy.
He's researching it. He's looking it up.
Katsuma, I think.
Yeah.
So Katsuma is the boy. Katsuma is the boy. So it's Mahoro, who's the girl, and then Katsuma, who's the boy. And what's funny in the movie though is like you see them both like pick sides. Like, you know, with Bakugo and Deku.
Yeah.
So, like, Bakugo and Deku have, like, this, like, Vegeta and Goku, like, relationship where it's like, fuck this dude. But it's like, I want to be stronger than you. And it's just, like it's
they
classic.
need each other. They need each other, too.
They literally just were like, oh, that works? Yeet! And they just took that idea. But It's funny because Mahoto, the girl, takes a liking to Bakugo.
Mm-hmm.
For some weird reason, the way Bakugo like acts all stiff and like prideful and whatever, she thought was cool. And then Katsume obviously went with Deku because they are both very I don't want to say the word, but they both quirky in the sense that their like personality is sort of like out there. It's a little nerdy, you know. It's
like
a little
the
geek.
sister is against being a hero because she thinks it's dangerous. Correct me if I'm wrong. That's right?
No, you're right. My thing
but
is
then
like,
the boy wants to be a hero, but she doesn't want him to be.
Yes, you're right about that. And it's also personalities. So like the girl is super aggressive.
Yes.
The boy is very reserved.
He's very timid.
Very timid,
Yeah.
and that's exactly Bakugo aggressiveness, Deku timidness. Because Deku is like trying to become that leader, right? And we're like throughout the whole series, you're seeing him like grow and become this leader that's gonna be later the greatest hero that ever lived. But it was kind of charming, cute, or however you want to say it, of seeing him and Katsume have their sort of moments. And it's nice in like a film perspective because it gives you like that core character dynamic between the two, where it's like you care for the kid because Deku cares for the kid. So if something happens to the kid, you know what I mean? Shit, this boy Deku gonna jump in.
Yeah.
So it gives that sort of plot movement for the movie, but it also the thing that
Bakugo cares about him too.
No, I'm not saying Bakugo doesn't. I'm just saying this leads into what I'm gonna like. My theory is because I can't not have this theory because Horikoshi. I don't know. I don't want to say he said. I'm not gonna.
Just
I'm
say
not,
he hinted. He didn't say he didn't.
No. He didn't hint. I'm just saying he said prior. I don't remember. What I'm saying is I don't remember exactly what he said. Somebody could fucking update me as to what it exactly was. But he said something before the movie was gonna, like when they announced the movie, there was a bunch of like hype around it because he said this could be the last movie for the series. Because the script has elements of the finale that I had in mind. And then later on, before the movie comes out, you find out that's kind of what he said, but what he actually said was there were elements of his original ending for the series in the movie, but he scrapped them and is now going to do a separate ending, but they're going to keep those elements in the movie. So if you want to see like a alternate version of what could possibly have been the end of My Hero Academia, that's in this movie, so exclusive content, so people are hyped. I might be wrong about that, but I know he said one or the other. He said one of them. But either way, it has ending implications is what my point is.
Yeah.
So, like, the character dynamic relationship between Katsume and Midoriya, Deku, is important because Deku is literally, he is literally going to this kid and he's, like, all-mighting him. Like, he's, you know what I mean? Like, how All Might is, like, in his own way, like, watched after Deku took on One For All, he watched him over and he was like, you can be a hero too.
Yeah.
Deku says that essentially to the kid, Katsume, you can be a hero too. Like, it's hella like touching because the kid really wants to be like a hero, but like his sister's like, you can't be a hero. And it's the only reason why also my theory, I'm gonna get to it, is what it is because the quirk of the kid seems too elaborate to me not to use eventually. So the quirk of the kid is regeneration, I think. He can regenerate cells or whatever.
Yes, that's it.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And that's why
the other guy wanted him.
That's why the main villain wanted him, because he had like...
The main villain was like 9 or 8 or something.
His name was
like
9.
9?
Yeah, because he holds 9 quirks.
He can do 9 different
Kind of like All For One. So All For One, the main villain who fights All Might.
But it like took damage to his body or something, which is why he needed the kid. He needed Katsume. Katsume?
Yeah.
He needed Katsume because his quirk would be able to regenerate his cells so that he can continue to
use the
quirks. Because the more quirks he used, the more damage his body took. Mm-hmm. And so...
Which... 9, the character, why people were like, this is major spoilers, don't watch this until you're done with season 4, is because the character of Nine himself, he's like a. You later see he's a project, if you will, of like the people, the League of Villains, is what I'll say. And that is spoiler-ish because I think in the manga right now they're at a certain point where they're talking about that people like Nine. So I don't want to say specific things because I got it spoiled for myself. I'm not even that far in the manga. I'm like past the Endeavor arc in the manga, but which is fucking fire, no pun intended. But my theory, going back to my theory, and the whole point of this thing and why I want to talk about it is, my theory is that Katsume will be the next bearer of one for all.
Maybe.
You get that face like
I just don't. I don't.
You don't want it to be.
I don't see that.
Why?
I don't know.
Let's talk.
Like,
Why?
I think you think it because you're like, oh, Deku is telling him, hey, you can be a hero too.
No.
But with his quirk already, he can still be a hero. He doesn't need one for all.
No, it doesn't need one for all. But what I'm saying is, it would make sense to give this kid with the quirk he has one for all. Like if I was Deku in Deku's position. The thing is, the thing is Deku. So you see it with Eri in the overhaul arc. You know, like Deku is trying to be a hero to these kids, trying to be a hero to the next generation, trying to be that person. So he's learning to smile all the time. He's learning not to show people his fears, and he's becoming he's progressed. In the movie, I think we are seeing that progressed Deku in the sense that he's learned from meeting Eri. He's learned from that experience with Overhaul what it's like to be a mentor to someone. And it's different with the relationship he had with Eri, because with Eri, he sees her kind of like this little sibling. With, what's his face? Katsume, it seemed way different. It was very intimate the way they were like... If you like, you can easily look into the conversations they had. Like, it was very one-on-one. And it was precise for the movie. It makes sense. But I'm just saying, like, if you want to read into it, you want to grow this conspiracy like I am, it's possible. Because, like, he wasn't just, like, he was telling Eri, you know, stuff like, hey, don't listen to Chisaki or whatever, and, like, trying to get her away from the The problem is, Eri's situation was way different. With with Katsume, Kaminari's the electric, with Katsume, Deku was literally mentoring him. And I think it wasn't one of those things where it's like, the thing is, it's an open door, is all I'm saying. I'm saying it's an open door because of the relationship was real. It felt real. It felt relatable. Why? Because Deku experienced that with All Might. And so it gave me glimpses of that. And that's the reason why I want to think that he could be. Is because you got to think when Deku's later growing old and he wants to pass one for all, if like All Might, if ever he does, he's going to have options. And this kid, because Deku said, I'll meet you at UA, or I'll see you at UA. I hope you enroll. Mm-hmm. So if this kid enrolls, because, okay, so if you're not on season 4 of My Hero Academia, I don't know what you're doing, but it's the same thing with All Might and Deku. Deku, the only difference was Deku touched All Might, like, personally. Like, All Might was going to pick Mirio. Yeah. Because his quirk made sense for the bear to be a bearer of one for all, and also Mirio is just fucking OP, and he would have been even more OP if he had a one for all. It would have been literally the greatest hero. Yeah. Literally. But but anyways, my thing is, this kid will either fall under the Mirio category or the Deku category, where Deku will pick him or he won't, or he'll pick somebody else who reminds him more of himself. I just feel like this kid reminds me of Deku's future protege. You know what I mean? Like, there was something about that relationship that just like had this like glimmer of hope for me, like where I was just like, Okay, I could see that.
Yeah.
Like, especially, and the only reason why I had it in my brain also is because of what Horikoshi said about it having elements of the ending, which, if you watch the movie, obviously he was talking about Deku passing One for All. And he was going to end it there, and Deku was going to pass One for All. And in the... Well, I don't want to get into spoilers because you're not reading the manga, you're not there in the anime, but there's hints to the movie in the manga that I see why people were, like, knew what was going to happen in the movie.
About,
what
Bakugo?
happens with him and Bakugo, yeah. So, which is, like, I'm glad it didn't end there because now this kid is an open door, is all I'm saying. He could be... Listen, dude, his quirk... Hear me out. His quirk is regenerating cells.
Yeah.
He regenerated the cells of Deku and Bakugo the first go-around they had with 9. Right? He got them pretty much full health.
Yeah.
With that quirk, using One for All... Imagine all the times that Deku broke so many freaking limbs, bro. Just trying to use the quirk. But imagine a regenerative cell quirk. You use One for All and you become more used to it. Why? Because you can regenerate every single time.
So the thing about One for All I always get confused by, and you probably heard this. So One for All gives them the ability to have soup, like whatever, because like Deku can... He's really strong. He's really fast. All Might is really strong. Really
so if you
fast.
remember in the anime, All Might describes the One for All as a power stack quirk.
So like the person
it's
previously
just full
before.
power. It's like that's all that the quirk gives you is power, and the power is just you know what I mean, like energy that the person who bears it can manipulate however they want to. With All Might, I think it was he just used his brute force and whatever.
Yeah.
With Deku, now the thing about this is we don't know that much
about Deku's quirk.
About One for All and how it is being used with Deku because
he didn't have a quirk.
1, he didn't have a quirk.
Yeah.
2, he's starting to see all of the people that had One for All. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
I don't know if were we there yet? Oh, fuck.
No.
But if you're a manga reader, you know exactly what I'm talking about. There's an endless possibility with the quirk. It's not a set in stone. It's just a power stack quirk. So it gives the user a lot of power, and how that uses it. Now, All Might does say that it is transferred, and with every transfer, the quirk gets stronger.
But so that would mean that Katsume would have his quirk as well as a super strength quirk.
A power strike, yeah. But you notice how Deku was using it differently. Like All Might was like, okay.
Well, yeah, Deku has to use his legs. He has his own.
Sort of, but it's also just different. He doesn't have a bulky form. He's not using that. He's not. You know what I mean? It's different. Yeah. But that's because every bearer of One for All is different. It's not the same. I'm just saying, like, it is interesting because we don't. The thing is, we don't know also the people who had One for All before.
Yeah.
If they had quirks or if not. Because if they had quirks, then their quirks became a part of One for All. So those are open quirks. Now imagine adding regenerating your cells as onto One for All. That's fucking OP. That's all I'm saying. Like, you can end the series there. Like, that's perfect.
Yeah. I'm not saying that your theory is like debunked or even like.
I mean, it's a theory, dude.
It's a theory. I'm just saying.
Go ahead.
That. What if it wasn't like, oh, he got superpower, or if he didn't even experience it the way that Deku experiences it? So where would his quirk, his original quirk, come into play as much? Like, I understand it being like for Deku, for example, who's always hurting himself from using his quirk. Like, that would work very well for him. So Katsume had it first, and then Deku was the one who got passed on the One for All.
Oh, it would have worked for Deku.
Then it would have worked better for Deku, but who's to say anyone else needs it the way that Deku does, like that.
Because the quirk itself, that's why Deku trained so hard. All Might says,
That he was also in the same situation?
that you need to like at least be at least somewhat yoked.
Yeah.
To be able to bear the quirk, because the quirk is like for anyone is a lot to take.
Yeah.
That's why I think it pairs well with the quirk he has, because the quirk he has could be easily used. Like he would have to, like, let's say he like enrolled in UA,
Yes.
like Katsume we were talking about. Let's say he enrolled in UA, he's gonna need to be Batman. Like he's gonna need to really like train everything, because his quirk isn't, you know what I mean? It isn't Kirishima like rock hard. It isn't like Tokoyami where he has a dark.
Well, his is more like
it
Recovery
isn't like
Girl.
Bakugo. You know what I mean? Yeah.
His is more like Recovery Girl, which I think is also a thing where you gotta realize that in this world, people like him are needed for those other quirk jobs, like aftermath things, like after fights. So if he is just one of the people with One for All, I get One for All and All for One mixed up all the time.
All for One evil, One for All good.
So One for All, if he had One for All, then he would
All
be
for,
out in the
all
fray
for
all
one,
the time.
All for One Sith, One for All Jedi.
Thank you. But I think that he has, like, I think that the way that Deku talks to him about being like, oh, you can be a hero too, isn't just like him saying, oh, I see potential in you to carry this quirk that I carry, but also just like his quirk to regenerate cells would be very valuable to the hero side.
No, I see that. I'm not going to argue that.
Like, imagine if he were to work for the villains with that kind of quirk. They would be at an advantage because they have someone who can literally heal people's cells within, like, minutes.
Yeah.
So they need him on the side of heroes.
Yeah.
And not necessarily as the next holder of One for All, but just, like, he can be a hero. His sister might be all like, it's dangerous, but...
What the hell?
What?
Oh, no, keep going.
Oh. But his sister might be all like, hey, that's... Also, just to say, his sister also has a quirk, and her quirk is she can make images, like, fake images, she can create them.
Yeah.
So she has her own quirk as well. I just wanted to shout out that she had something.
No, she does have a quirk.
Yeah. Which is very different than his.
They both have quirks, yeah.
But
I think his, yeah.
I
No, I mean, like, I see that. The only reason why I make this theory is because the relationship feels real. That's it. Like, he could fall under that category, and it would make sense. And I'm not arguing. I'm not gonna be upset. Yeah. I would be a little bit, only because I feel like they set it up. You know what I mean? Like, this is something they set up, and it's in the movie. I know. There's 90% chance that that's not what my theory is. It's not going to happen only because it's in the movie. And he's probably going to, you know what I mean? But Horikoshi does seem to take what happens in the movie seriously. So I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm hoping I'm wrong.
We'll
I
probably
just
see
feel
him
like
again
it
in
would
the
be
future.
nice to see him come in the future and Deku recognizing him.
But it's also nice to see, and it might be them developing that Deku is a real hero and he's gaining his own fan following, like All Might, like Endeavor, like Fat Gum, like they all have their own like followings of people who look up to them, and Deku being a true hero is signified by the fact that he does have someone out there who's just all like, wow, look at this guy, and probably changes their lives, kind of just like how All Might was for Bakugo as well. Or apparently, from your image, Hawk felt for Endeavor.
Well, if you're a manga reader, yeah, Hawk's big Endeavor stan. Which I love. I love seeing characters that like because it's not just All Might, you know what I mean? Like All Might,
like all
Surge,
these superheroes.
but there's a whole list of superheroes, and now we're gonna meet them in season 5, and I'm super excited for you to meet all of the new heroes.
There's that girl.
They're not new. They're just.
I'm excited.
We haven't seen them because we've been focused on UA, and now that the number one hero spot is taken by someone else, you're gonna start to see more people battle for that number one spot.
Also, like, they have a ranking. Like,
That's what I mean.
That
That's
means
what I mean.
there's a whole lot of other heroes,
Yeah.
but we barely hear about them. We hear about, like, there's Jean, whatever his name is.
Best Genius?
Best Genius.
Well, he was
like,
I
the
liked
giant
him.
lady.
Yeah. Mount Lady. She's not one of the top 10, I don't think.
I know, but these are just the heroes that we know of. But there's a whole
The funny
lot
thing
out
is
there.
they were there.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like, all the other heroes. Like, Horikoshi was like, I'll draw them. They'll be there.
So they're like
But
the
I'm not going to
background
touch on
series.
them until
Okay.
later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he always had them in mind as characters. Like for Hawks, his first image was him as a literal hawk. And then, because he knew the character was going to be there, character already existed in his world. He just hadn't designed him yet. So all these characters have already most of them we've seen in that, but haven't gotten their shine yet. Like Fat Gum and who got his shine. You know, like just Best Genius who got his shine before All for One fucked him up. So I just like the theory.
But I could also see it being like, Deku is being seen as a true hero. I know he has that one kid who...
So he has a Koda?
Yeah, he has a Koda,
Eri, and now Katsume.
slowly but surely he's gaining a kind of like how kids view Superman and how kids view Spider-Man and stuff like that. Like a fan base of these kids who are going to look up to him, which is important in seeing him as the number one hero.
Exactly. It's important because he's going to eventually, when he's done with UA, he's going to need that support in order to reach the top charts. So I hope we see all of those people later on. We're going to see Koda again, by the way. But
Eri, obviously.
Eri is going to be a constant.
The thing about Eri, though, is I think, like...
I love Eri. Eri's character is so
adorable.
Good. So good. Such a good character. So dark, though.
She's some kid, you know.
But she's I think she's the most realistic. You can't skip over the
fact that there are stories like that
she's the most realistic.
Like children.
Yeah.
So.
It's fucked up. I don't like it. But
I do think that she is more of a stan of Mirio than she is Deku, but she's still like a huge fan of Deku too. But I think that her hero in her eyes, the biggest one is probably Mirio.
It would make sense. It would make sense just because Mirio was there protecting her most of the time before Deku came in and swooped like Goku. Mirio was putting in all that hard. Literally before that, I get so upset, bro. Every time I think about this freaking scene, before Mirio had him, he had Chisaki. It was over. Like this motherfucker was gonna wreck his ass. Even Chisaki was like, "Fuck, I'm fucked. I need a way out because he's way better than me."
He just had someone on the sidelines that was all like, "Now's my chance."
He like looked at him and was like, "Shoot this motherfucker! He gonna kill me." And that's what they did. They got their chance, and Mirio and Eri's quirk is fucking strong.
That's true.
Her quirk is hella strong, dude.
Who's to say she
Time
can't
reversal.
be the next person to hold?
Dude, that would be sick. That would be sick too. I'm just saying now there's options. So you can make the theory that, what if Koda gets one for all? What if Eri gets one for all? Koda's quirk is he uses he's a water quirk. I don't because like his parents. His parents had like water quirks and they it could be either Koda, it could be Eri, it could be Katsume.
Yeah.
One or the three. Pick your choice. I just think Katsume's relationship with Deku is a little bit more intimate in the sense where Eri's, like you said, she's following Mirio a little bit more, in which Mirio, I think it's kind of funny and twisted at the same time that Mirio is also following her because this motherfucker, this boy wants his quirk back. Yeah. So he's like, just reverse the time. Just reverse the time back when just reverse it so I got my quirk back. But, it's kind of cute though to see them like hang around, and also like Aizawa is acting like a dad.
Badly. Like when you told me that he has like a dad relationship, I was like, this could be like Yotsuba.
Because there's only one person.
This could be like Honey Drop.
Because there's the only one person who can what's it called? Quarantine or regulate Eri's quirk. Mm-hmm. It's Aizawa because he can cancel it. Yeah. So he can be like, you're grounded, and then just shut off her quirk. So he plays that whole dad figure for her, which is sweet and nice only for him. Also for his character because he's also really a dick, but also like trying to be good, and also like Yeah, he's an interesting character.
Mm.
Yeah, but
He's one of my favorites. He's literally one of my favorite. Like,
not just you, a bunch of people. He's always in the top charts of the fan polls.
I love him.
He's really good. People also like Bakugo. That ending.
Apparently, people really like Hawk.
Hawks.
Hawks.
His name's Hawks. Yeah.
Mm.
I don't want to spoil anything just because this one hasn't.
No,
we're
I
not
haven't.
done with season 4, and also season 5's not gonna come out.
I haven't
later.
even met him yet in the show. Like,
He's gonna next episode, which whenever the dub will release. But
it's taken forever.
But he's an interesting one.
Mm.
Mirio was interesting only because of the prospect of having another person that could have been the bearer of One for All is very interesting.
Yeah.
Also seeing him patrol with Deku and Deku learning from him, and is very interesting. And also seeing him how he's literally as strong as a pro.
Yeah.
Like that's
even though he's still a student.
insane. And his quirk is permeation. Like you would think that's dumb, but then the way he uses it's badass. And also in the video game, One's Justice, I was playing against him. This boy's fucking strong, dude. But yeah, Hawks brings that another interesting aspect to the show that we haven't seen. I feel like I always say that in every arc, like with the overall arc before it came. I was like, I told her, I was like, you're not gonna expect what the fuck is gonna happen in this arc, because I was never expecting them to touch that, like gangster, child abusive, like it was dark, dude.
Yeah.
Like he had a hold on her, and it was dark. But this other arc is not what I would have thought. But also, I have no expectations for any of the arcs for My Hero anymore, because I never know what the fuck they're gonna be. Because Horikoshi seems like he's always just throwing different elements of stories. But this one is interesting, and I'm excited for you to see the Endeavor arc. But yeah, that's my theory. I think Katsume could be the bearer of One for All. I just think it makes sense. His quirk could regenerate his cells as he's learning One for All, so he could learn it a lot faster than Deku did. He could be a lot stronger. Mm-hmm. Or he could just be, your regular medic hero, regulating the heroes when they done. He could be one of them people that's on the side helping Deku as he's a pro. He could also be that. He could be Deku's sidekick.
Oh yeah, he could be. Yeah.
So there's different.
But also, who knows if we'll ever even see him again, because he's a movie character.
That's the thing. I hope so.
That's the only thing that I'm always like, because in the first movie they had characters.
Yeah.
That were solely for that movie, and we didn't really see
the
them.
thing was also they were for All Might's backstory.
That's true. That is true. But I mean, like, we haven't seen,
the only reason we don't see them, though, is because they're Americans.
This is true.
We're in Japan in My Hero.
This is true.
The characters they introduced in the first movie were Americans when All Might was patrolling America.
They were in, like, U.S., right?
That's how he got all his names for all his fucking superpowers, apparently.
Detroit Smash or something.
No. California Smash. And then when he did United States of Smash, that shit was smacking.
But since we already went into spoilers about the movie, what do you want to say about the whole Bakugo and Deku thing? Because I know when we saw that in Japanese, you were like, I looked over and you were just like speechless. Speechless.
Because
I was like, what the heck? No way. No way. Because it's so sad. I don't know you guys know we're in spoilers. So what happens is they are almost defeated by 9. And so Deku's all like, I gotta do what I gotta do. And he decides to give.
Well, Deku's and Bakugo weren't winning by themselves.
Yeah, they needed something like upper hand one.
Yeah, fuse. Yeah. But they can't fuse because they're not Saiyans.
They don't have the earrings. They don't have the dance.
Yeah.
But they do have a transferable
quirk that apparently Deku could give.
Yeah, to just at any time he wants to. Even
the reason why I want to talk about that is because it's very. First of all, it's very poetic for the characters. If you follow them, it's very. There's so many layers to it, dude. I mean, like it's very like. It's one of those moments that I'm surprised they put in the movie and not in the manga, or in the like official series only because of how like momentous it felt. Like it felt very like
it felt very ending like. And
yeah.
if there was anything that the manga manga how do you say that again?
The author, just say author, it's fine.
The Arthur and illustrator.
Author.
The author was hinting at was probably that maybe someone close like Bakugo or just like one of the others at UA from his class might get his quirk, that he might have to be forced to hand it to someone else just to defeat a really big boss.
Yeah. But yeah, I just think it was, I don't know, there was something about it where I was just like in my head like, no way they're doing this.
Everyone in the theater was like, no way. In both theaters.
It was quiet, bro. In both the Japanese
and the English
dub and the English dub, everybody was quiet. Nobody saw that shit coming. I hope whoever, well, clearly they didn't get it spoiled because everybody was just like, what the like, we had just seen a top tier anime movie in Dragon Ball Super Broly. They needed to bring that level in order to top that. Yeah. And the fact that they pulled that thing out
with the music, was like the visuals of that scene.
I could watch that scene over and over and
Guys,
over.
It is like poetry.
Well, it's not even like, just that. It's like
it was beautiful.
Okay, so animation wise, isolated, it's very beautiful. But the weight of it, the reason why, if you were to isolate it, people would be like, okay, cool, yeah, it's an action scene, whatever. But if you follow the series from the fucking beginning, this is a big moment for both of the characters. Yeah. Like, something that that's why I'm so confused that it was just in the movie and not, because after the only thing that did upset me that I saw online was
the cop out?
Yes, in the sense that Deku gave him the quirk. Bakugo essentially was a vessel for One For All. Yeah. Someone from One For All awakened in Bakugo, used Bakugo's quirk, and helped Midoriya defeat 9. That's essentially what happened. Because once Bakugo woke up, you get this moment where you're like, did he just lose One For All? There's like literally a moment where I was thinking, did he just lose
Well,
One
there's
For All?
that conversation between
and
Deku and
All Might doesn't know either.
Yeah.
And then All Might sees Deku's hand and it vibrates and he cries because it's like he sees it as like a, whatchamacallit, as like a kind of like how like
a second, because like Deku wasn't done.
No, not that, but it was like a, whatchamacallit, not like a blessing, but like a
reset.
No, what's the word, like when like something happens, you know, like that is unspeakable, unexplainable, that like you think higher power had something to do with it.
Like I don't know if there's
a miracle. There you go. It was a fucking miracle. I pulled it out.
I thought you were looking for like a.
He literally looked up in the skies and was like, "Thank you, guys, thank you." And he was talking to every bearer of One For All because clearly, well, if in the manga it makes sense, why that would be the case. It just was a little upsetting because it's one of those fan servicey moments where you get to see Bakugo in One For All, but afterwards he doesn't remember. Keep it. No.
He doesn't even remember that it happened
because One For All took over his body.
Yeah.
Which, the only reason why that does upset me a little bit is because of it is a kind of a cop out.
Yeah. But I gotta say, I was very relieved. I was like, yes.
You didn't want him to have it?
I did not want.
I was going through all the emotions when we saw it because at first when it happened I was like, I can't believe they're doing this, I can't believe they're doing this, and then they fucking did it and they had the thing and then you see the lights and then the music hits and I'm like, ha! And I'm like, after this Deku's done, or are they both gonna be
I feel like
bears of One For All? I was like,
that's what I was thinking at first too, and then I was all like, well, Deku's on the ground talking about how he gave it away. So he no longer has it.
Yes, and he was crying and he was saying I gave it to Bakugo. I gave it to Bakugo, and I was like, you know what? In my head, I was like, at that moment when that happened, in my head, I was like, fine. I'll take this. If Bakugo's the new main character,
But the thing is that
it is what it is. I accepted it.
Obviously wasn't finished with, and that's why I was bothered by it, because I was all like, if he really lost it, he gave it prematurely because he wasn't done with it. He's still learning his like power. He hasn't mastered it, but to lose it before you're able to, but it's kind of like what All Might said, that One for All gave him this moment where he's like,
it was a blessing.
Allow this to happen because I can see like he's so pure at heart that this was something that
not just pure at heart. They know like One for All, the quirk and the vessels of it, which like the spirits of the people who bared it like live within you.
Is just like the Avatar.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That's what I was thinking when I was reading the manga. That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. And so when Deku goes One for All 100%, that's also, now I can't unsee the Avatar state. But yeah, it makes sense though, only because obviously the manga's still happening. Yeah. You know that Deku, but there was a moment where I was just like, I don't know what's happening exactly in the manga, so maybe the new main character is Bakugo and Deku decides to still become a hero.
Yeah.
So I was just like, I accepted it because I was like, Bakugo at this point, for this movie, from the show and everything that I've seen, he's grown so much where I'm a lot of people clearly, because in the polls he's very high up. It's either one day in the manga, it's either Deku number 1 or Bakugo. They're gonna have that in real life and in the anime. Yeah. They're gonna be fighting for that number 1 spot. But a lot of people like him now, and he's very likable. Why? Because he's really relatable. While reading
the manga, I relate to him. Started like favoring him. Mm-hmm. Like you said, he's becoming one of your favorites.
Yeah. When the series first started, I was like, he's a bully. I don't really like him. He's annoying. And I gravitated towards Midoriya instantly because I was like, he's dealing with a lot of inner demons, a lot of depression, a lot of doubt because he can't be what he wants to be.
Yeah.
And then he gets given this opportunity, takes it full speed ahead. And I was like, yeah, you go, kid. Let's see. Come on. And then Bakugo goes back into the thing, and they have this sort of Sasuke Naruto moment, but also Vegeta Goku relationship melded into one, where it's like Bakugo accepts him, especially in their fight, where he admits, he's like, I look up to All Might, just like you look up to All Might. They both are striving for the same thing. Mm-hmm. Bakugo is just so hard-headed, and his personality is and can come off bullyish because he is very aggressive. Naturally, his quirk is explosives, and so it makes sense too. But I don't know, that moment when the anime where they had, I think in like season 3, where where they have their fight in the thing, and All Might tells Bakugo the secret of him and Deku, which I didn't think they were gonna reveal until later. But I'm kind of glad they gave Bakugo the sort of like ins. Because now what All Might wants for Bakugo is to be a rival of Deku. But what All Might tells Bakugo is, I neglected you. And I thought that was fucking tear-jerking. Because honestly, yeah, like, Bakugo is such a strong character. Like, he wants to be the best hero. He doesn't want to be a villain. Because he was taken by the League of Villains. And they were like, you look like you could be a good villain. You should,
you know what I'm saying?
Come be a villain, you know what I'm saying? And he was like, fuck you.
I'm a hero.
Yeah, he was like, he's like, I'm going to surpass All Might, this and that.
I'm going to be the number 1 hero.
Yeah.
Is what he was
and
claiming.
I was like, okay. And at that point, because he didn't accept the darkness that clearly people see within him, that's what I was like, this guy's going to, like, his development's going to be Vegeta level, possibly even more, because he's so young.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, you can see that, because he's, he always says, like, calls Deku a nerd and whatever, but at this point now, after the movie and everything, like, he's at the point now where he sees Deku as an equal, and now he just wants to fight Deku to prove that he's gotten stronger. And
just
if Deku
like
can't
Vegeta.
And if Deku can't beat him, then he knows you fucked up. and it's just it's just interesting. His character is so important. He deserved to have that moment where he got one for all, because like that little kid wanted it. Like he wanted it. The Bakugo wanted it arguably just as much as Deku did, just in a different way.
Yes.
And that's one thing that we can't neglect. Is like, that's so interesting that's why it's so interesting to me, because Deku is the one who got bullied, right?
Yes.
So we gravitate towards that character, but we don't notice that the bully sometimes doesn't realize what they're doing isn't affecting the people they bully as much, and what they want is the same thing. They have the same insecurities, because when Bakugo said he felt it was his fault that All Might got put in the position that he was put in to fight
captured,
All for One, because he got captured.
Yeah.
He didn't even, because Deku was like, realized, he's like, this motherfucker he don't realize that this was not about like shit. And then and you know what I mean, like Bakugo had that moment where that insecurity where he was like you have this relationship with him, but it was my fault that he lost or whatever. So you can clearly tell, bullies have insecurity. Everyone's a human, everyone goes through like their own shit, and that's super relatable. And like now they're at a point where they're rivals, where they're gonna clash, but they're not going to be like at odds entirely, because they're both trying to be heroes, and at the end of the day they could probably help each other more often than not, which Bakugo does in the movie. Yeah. But that moment was, I think, well deserved, well put.
I think if anyone were
Very
to
poetic.
get One for All, a lot of people would accept Bakugo getting it, and that's why it works very well, because Bakugo is...
It also leaves an open door, though.
Yeah.
Because he did bear it. So if they want to go back to that plot point...
They could.
They
can dig that back up. And he doesn't remember, so he wouldn't be like,
He would need Midoriya.
Yeah. He doesn't know that that's a possible thing. So.
Which I think is possible. Which is interesting, because if you think about that being... So if you want to even dig deeper and think about that being a possible ending to the series, of Deku giving it to Bakugo and accepting that, no matter what, Bakugo is just going to be gifted with relentless, like, even though I have this one for all quirk, Bakugo's still up there. And determination. But it made sense. It made sense in a weird way, where I didn't want it to happen because it seemed too early, but at the same time I kind of accepted it, and it was weird. Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, if anyone were to get One for All before Deku is finished with it and, like, reached his peak, I think people will be okay with Bakugo.
Yeah. Because he's grown so much.
Yeah. And he is the second character. He is the secondary lead in the show. Of a show that does such a well done job with its ensemble that every character feels important.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many side characters in this manga, in this anime. And it's so easy to have, like, just a handful of side characters, focus on those. But this manga... creator,
a whole school,
has made an entire
class
school,
A, class
different
B.
Classes. Yeah, he does different classes. Plus, you have the villain side,
League of Villains, the heroes.
It's such a huge ensemble, and every single one of them is important. And
that's what I liked about the movie too. They all got their moment.
Yeah, they all do. Kind of just like how every season you get to see them all grow. They don't just set them aside exactly. Like some of them,
they'll set them aside in seasons. But what's interesting is like.
You accept it.
Exactly. You accept that Todoroki and Bakugo are on the sidelines for the overhaul arc. You don't like it, but you accept it. Why? Because you see that Kirishima is under and seeing his character development is important.
You get to see another character. Froggy and
Gravity
Ochako. Girl.
You get to see them.
Urara.
Yeah, whatever the fuck. And Deku's girl. You get to see them, and obviously Deku and a new character, Lemillion with Mirio.
Yeah.
And Fat Gum. You introduce more heroes. You introduce, you know what I mean?
You get to see the third students more.
But you accept it. Why? Because you know that the other students, they're busy doing their own thing.
They'll be back.
Don't worry. that point. And what's interesting is, don't worry. Like Tokoyami, we didn't see him in his work study. Don't worry. Is what I'm saying. Yeah. Because Horikoshi doesn't forget. He doesn't, like, he'll be like, yeah, well, I'm going to put them on the side. But don't worry. Like, we'll get to Todoroki. We'll get to
the movie,
you know,
like all these other characters have their own like obstacles. Like you see the girl who can make things out of her body, the creation girl, and what's his name? He's got the hawk head.
Yeah,
I think it was
Tokoyami.
Was it them or was it they were underground fighting someone? Yeah. Like you get to see them, and they're in their own like thing. You get to see all the other characters fighting the other villains while this thing is going on with Bakugo and Hawks
at the end.
And Hawks at the end, you get to
goes and instantly is like, oh shit, something's happening in this island. Goes there and then sees his boy Tokoyami on the ground. He's like, my fellow bird.
It's just that these characters that are side characters, he has a way of making it so that they're not just side characters. It's kind of like how in Dragon Ball Z, like Tien comes
Dragon
back,
Ball series,
or in Dragon Ball, like any of them, like Dragon Ball Z.
Well, the whole, I mean, like the whole thing.
Yeah, well, like Tien comes back, you see him a lot. You still see like what Krillin is up to and what Bulma and what like all those side characters are doing. Obviously, that's not as big of an ensemble, but they have a way of bringing them back throughout the series. Whereas you have some animes like, let me think. I'm rusty on my anime.
Well, in one that we just recently finished, Fire Force, is a really good anime, yes. But they don't do the ensemble correctly in the sense that
they literally feel like an ensemble.
Some of the characters don't get shine, and they never do, and it's upsetting.
They're only there for their own little like
for plot points,
like little plot things.
And with My Hero, it's never like that. Like
important.
If you ever feel like they were just used for plot points at first, you're gonna be mistaken when you continue the series because they bring them back.
They bring them back.
And they develop them even more.
They're well developed side characters, and
it's just a good series.
Yeah.
Like,
Overall,
just a good series.
I like it a lot, and you guys keep watching it. I know that the manga, AK, is getting some bad like people be bad-mouthing him.
Listen, we live in a culture where everybody trying to cancel everything.
Yeah, cancel
and
culture
everybody want to
toxic.
End everything. And the fact that they're now that you brought it up, I'm just gonna address it. The fact that they were attacking Horikoshi over some information that, it might be sensitive, but it's important. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, if I decide to do a story on Hitler, you're going to cancel me because I decided to do a story on Hitler, even though it's important to understand the history. Like, and not even just that. Even when the series first started, people were like, Yaoyorozu shows too much skin, even though her quirk is creating things. I get that it is a little bit, she is the character possibly used as fan service, but other than that, he doesn't really do gags that much other than the character that is kind of his Roshi, the little purple dude.
The little grape guy.
Grapey boy. Other than that, he doesn't do anything like explicit. Everything
and, like, dates thing.
Everything is tasteful. If you actually like go and break it down, there are so many female characters that are on a big spectrum of, like, an invisible girl, a girl who creates things, a girl who floats, who never shows any skin.
The musical girl.
A girl who's a frog who doesn't show any. She just happens to be thick. A girl that we'll later see who's a top tier hero in Mirko, the bunny.
The bunny girl? I'm so
She's
excited
fucking
to
awesome.
meet her.
Not even that. Not even just her. The dragon lady. There's so many characters. Like, some of them do appear to be fan servicey, and if you're gonna attack Horikoshi for it, I don't think that's the right approach, because he's not really doing it as bad as so many other stories that are focused on that. He's focused on having a good story with a linear point, and all of his characters are unique. And why is this so popular? Because everybody can point at somebody in the screen or in the manga and be like, I relate to them. Yeah. And so, like,
the
to
fact
attack
that
him,
people are attacking him on things so small is like, I know some might not think it's small, but like looking at dates,
it's really
birth
small.
dates that he uses,
small, dude.
Like, he has so many characters. You can't have them all born on like the same day. It's like real life. People are born on certain days, even if other people
like
are
if
born
I was
on those
born,
days that are not good.
There's some people who are born on the same day that Hitler's born. Are we gonna cancel them just because they're born?
There's people born on the same day as like Trump. There's people born on the same day as like
it fucking happens,
Columbus.
Bro.
It's just
we can't cancel.
It's something that happens.
We can't cancel everything, and the fact that these kids, and I'm gonna call them kids just because I feel like they're kids, who are trying to cancel Horikoshi don't understand what they're doing. The man doesn't go out in public. He's afraid, that
like they send him death threats over these things.
Over the
He's
Endeavor.
He's just a creator creating a story that people enjoy.
Okay, so first, it was fan service.
Yes.
We don't like it. Yeah. Then it was Endeavor. He doesn't deserve a redemption arc. He's a fucking hero, regardless whether you like it or not. He's gonna be. He is.
People worship freaking, not Luke Skywalker. Darth Vader. If you
not even just Darth Vader, Kylo Ren, Vegeta, all these characters that kill.
Zuko is like, everyone loves Zuko, but he starts off at a place that, I think when that aired, people were like, oh, he's like a bad guy. He doesn't deserve a redemption. If a redemption arc is done right, you can be redeemed.
And even if he's not redeemed, that's not even the point of Horikoshi. Horikoshi just wanted to do it because as a writer, to write a redemption arc, it's the best thing you could ask for because it's so interesting. To look back on something that the character has done and then progress them forward and have the character have a retrospect on what they did. It's life. It's real. It's gritty. It's neat. It's just real, that's the type of content that you want to write. So yeah, let him have his Endeavor arc, his Endeavor redemption arc. Let Endeavor be in that moment. Why? Because he's the number one hero right now, whether you like it or not. Just like in the manga, so many people are upset that you're with those people, but just experience it. At the end of the day, this isn't your story. It's not for you. You're reading it and you internalize it, but the person who's writing it doesn't know that you exist. He's just writing a story that he thinks it means a lot to him. Like hearing him break down because of his recent works that he's done with the whole Shigaraki coming to terms and having a moment with Deku. I think they're going to battle or whatever, and he broke down. Like, that shit is deep, dude. That's how you know this guy cares about his series. And the fact that, I know, it's not, you knew it was going to happen, bro. Let's just, we all knew it was going to happen. Like, Deku, Shigaraki, eventually we're going to fight. We knew. Okay, but the fact that it was leading up to that, and the fact that you get to finally write that epic moment, that make that epic moment, and you break down, like, that's how you know you care. And you want to cancel this, man? Like, it doesn't make sense. There's so many other series that have toxic fan bases where we're going to cancel things just because you don't like it. It's not for you. It's not.
Like, it's for you to view, but it's not for you to create the story.
It's not for you to judge.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, move on. But the author isn't trying to be insensitive. And if you don't realize that, and you don't realize that you're being insensitive by trying to cancel a person who's just trying to do his job, you're the problem, bruh. Get the fuck out of your mom's house. Try to fucking live on your own and understand what it means to fucking create a story before you fucking judge another person about making their own story, bro. Okay. Like, no. I'm just getting it off my chest. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's just upsetting as a writer and as a creator myself, like, to see this, because it is, I thought we had progressed farther than that, where we're at now in society. But if anything, negativity's just gone worse. I mean, My Hero Academia is nothing compared to older anime that did way more fan service.
Yeah.
You guys are lucky, bro. Like, what the fuck? You think this is bad? Go back in time, bro. There was way more fan service back then. So many boobs. Like, this is nothing. And so, to cancel him for little things is just, it's irritating, man. Because it's just like, just fucking sit down, enjoy the shit. Because I know deep down you enjoy this content. So why the fuck you bitching? So it's like, yeah. So
just because something in the storyline happens that you are like, well, I don't think that should have happened.
You're not the writer.
I want this to. Yeah, you're not the writer. And if you want to create that, just write fan fiction, guys. It's out there. If you are unhappy with the way the story is going, that's still,
no. You can write. No. Oh, here's my proposal. For anyone that wants to cancel a story, for any reason. Now, sometimes we want to do it because the author is insensitive on purpose. They're racist on purpose. That makes sense. But if the author is just trying to create a good story and you're just trying to cancel it because you don't like it, I want you to, 1, create a fan fiction, 2, make an original story and see how that goes, motherfucker. Let's see you create an original story. Start doing a fan fiction. Then after that, make an original story. Do it. Get it off your chest. Do everything that this person isn't doing that's upsetting you. Make the story that you want to be seen, because that's what he's doing. And if you're going to judge him for that unknowingly, at the end of the day, you can do the same thing, bro. Stop bitching and start writing. Start drawing. Start practicing. Make your own shit. If you upset that some motherfucker showed one boob, make a story where no boobs are shown. Make a story where boobs don't even exist. Make a story about, like, transsexuals. Make a story about make a story about what you want to be represented. Put it out there in the ether and stop bitching about shit that's out. Because at the end of the day, the more stuff we have that if you have a problem with it, there's more people that have a problem with it. Just drop the series, make something original.
Like, you can make your own stuff.
If you have a hard time doing it, and if you can't do it, now you understand. It's a hard job. So why are you going to cancel somebody for it? You know what I mean? It's just understanding that it's frustrating as a creator. You know what I'm saying? Just to be like, listen, bro. Like, it's just the same reason why artists hate reviewers and shit. Because it's like, you didn't make this. Like, you didn't put all your heart, sweat, tears, blood all in this shit, bro. So how you gonna review this shit? Unless you actually are a practitioner, how are you gonna review my shit and judge it? Like, you don't know shit because you didn't make it shit like this. This is unique. Whether you like it or not is out of my brain. Let's see you do the same. That's why so many artists, like theater and everything, critics and everything, people don't like critics. Because the artists are just trying to make art. And it's subjective at the end of the day, bro. So if you don't like it, drop it. That's it. It's not really that complicated. People like to make it more complicated than they are. They internalize things. Everyone on Twitter internalizes everything. Cancel this, cancel that. Ezra Miller, cancel this, cancel that. Just grow the fuck up. Move on. Find something that's for you, and if that thing doesn't exist, make it. So that more people that are in your situation can have something like that. The more you sit around, twiddle your thumbs, and complain, the more people that are doing anti-shit are making anti-shit. If you want to battle the stuff that's actually bad, we can start there, fam. But if you're going to cancel somebody for trying to make a good story and it's good, you got problems, fam. We got problems, homie.
It just,
I don't know. I went on a big ass rant.
Yeah. Got that? Feel better? Got it off your chest? Yeah. But yeah, guys, if you don't like something, you don't have to. I feel like in certain situations, like for instance, for the author of My Hero, you don't have to send him death threats. You don't have to be all like, this guy is terrible. Just drop the series. Then it's just not for you anymore. There's plenty of other things that you'd probably enjoy too out there. You could just get into that instead. But instead of writing an angry review or angry blog post about someone for art that they're making that is more of a personal problem for you. It's a tricky situation. Well, but you can drop things and then, just don't look at it anymore. Just don't watch it. Just don't read it anymore.
But also
separate yourself from it.
Yeah.
But you don't need to try to destroy someone who's innocent and hasn't actually done anything wrong.
Like, he literally hasn't done anything, like, actually bad. He just happened to draw boobs.
Yeah.
That's it. If you look at the grand scheme of things, what has he done to society? Why are we going to cancel this man? You know what I mean? All he's doing is writing a series. And there have been series worse, far more fan servicey than this. So that's why it's just upsetting to see him get hate. Because he is writing a really good story. Very good, very intellectual, very diverse.
Very different, so too, for the medium that he has. Like, manga. Yeah. He's taking, like, the American comic book.
Yes, that's why I love My Hero Academia, is because he's
taking the American comic book.
It's not even just that. He takes elements. He pays homages. If you actually are a comic book fan of American Western style comic books, or a graphic novel fan like me, when you read My Hero Academia, it's a treat, because you see that this Japanese guy likes that, and he's making panels, like certain angles, certain things. They look like they're from a graphic novel, not a manga. And it's so awesome, and it's so interesting, and it's so cool, and it's so
different.
It fits.
It's new. It's new and refreshing.
It's new, but it also fits because of the world that he is basing it on these superheroes. Yeah. So
All Might himself is designed after the Supermans and the Batmans that you see.
He's Japanese Superman, essentially.
Yeah. So he is creating something that is a little different than what you usually will see in a manga, in your like shonen.
Because everything, shonen manga, but because everything else is standard shonen. But the thing that makes My Hero so special, and why it's still and probably will eventually break a lot of records like Naruto, I think eventually it will, is because of that aspect to it. Like Naruto, you had the shinobi. Dragon Ball, you had that sci-fi-esque fantasy action adventure. But with My Hero Academia, he's literally taking like graphic novels and turning them and filling a bubble where I didn't think I needed, but it was a bubble that I actually, me personally, I 100% live in, is melding the two and meshing the two. What would a graphic novel look like? Because there's a lot of comic book artists and writers who are reading My Hero Academia and we're like, wow, this Japanese guy gets it. Like, he's writing a good, it's a linear story, just like Batman or any other things where it starts off, set things up, then later on you get to it. Just like that, My Hero Academia does that. And it's focusing on heroes. It's not focusing on ninjas. It's not focusing on superpowered human beings. Well, not... no, I mean, I meant like otherworldly superpowered.
Like an alien kind
alien
of
like Saiyans, what I mean. Or like Shinigami with Bleach. Or
it's not about magical girls either. It's
magical
not
girls.
Like that kind of superhero.
It's literally superheroes.
Yeah.
And Deku is one of us. He was one of us who got superpowers. Which
is like Spider-Man. Like...
Yeah. Exactly.
Like Daredevil, like all those characters. It's
that
is prominent.
They aren't seen like that because they're manga in Japanese, but that's exactly what they are, and it's so awesome. I love it.
Like, sure, we have that in like Sailor Moon, where she is a regular girl, quote unquote regular girl, even though she really is just reborn on. But she gets powers one day, but that's kind of like predetermined for her. Then you have, what is it called? Madoka, something like that? Where...
I don't know.
You guys know what I'm talking about if you're into anime. That magical girl one, where also they kind of make a deal, and then they get powers. This is more like they live in a world where people have these superpowers. There's villains. They fight. They protect. They protect their cities. They protect their towns and their countries and whatnot with their powers. So it's not.
The League of Villains is literally just like any rogues gallery, like Batman's rogues gallery, Flash's rogues gallery.
Like they're called the League of Villains.
They are Deku's
too.
They are Deku's rogues gallery, and the rogues gallery for the heroes of My Hero. And I
then
love
the
that
top
shit.
heroes are probably
They're
much like the Avengers,
the Justice
where they're
League. Yeah.
So it's not like a secret.
And they have moments.
Secret.
And they have moments like that with splash pages where you see their Justice League fighting against the League. Like, it's sick, man. It's as a graphic novel fan, it's what I want.
Yeah.
Like it fits in a bubble where it's like it gives you that, and then it's also drawn in the manga style, which is very beautiful and very different. And
so like this man who's creating it is creating a new world for anime, a new world of a perfect in between two different.
Well, I wouldn't say just him, because I just remembered One Punch Man, and One Punch Man is the same thing.
Yeah,
no,
you're right about that. You're right, but I can't remember which one came first.
I can't remember either.
I can't remember.
I think One Punch Man came out first.
Mm.
I think. But I could be wrong. I don't remember.
I feel like My Hero. I don't. I'm not sure. We'll look it up.
I'm looking it up right now.
But even still, it's so interesting to see this kind of like the world that he's creating, and yet people will nitpick at little things to try to destroy the work that he's making, and that's just not fair. Like, I understand if, say, people dug up something that he did something really bad, and people are like, well, now you shouldn't support this person anymore because of, like, maybe he had something controversial. But if it's something like, oh, he has birthdays that land on the same day as these people in the past, or, oh, he's put this in his comic, but that's prominent in a lot of other anime, then, like, that's not really a reason, especially if, like, the fan service isn't as big of a thing in My Hero as it is in, like, Fire Force. Fire Force has some really, really...
One Punch Man came first. 1 year early. Beat him to the gate 1 year early.
Anime-wise or manga?
Both. And manga. 2013, One Punch Man. 2014, My Hero.
Ooh, I see.
But
yeah, as I'm saying, like...
That's why
cancel culture is very... It's
well,
just not.
If we're going back
it's
to
not what it has
culture,
to be.
It just drop it, y'all. Like, don't even focus on the negative. You don't need to. Like, you can live your life without focusing on the negative, and you'll enjoy things a lot more.
Yeah.
But yeah, so One Punch Man and My Hero Academia took that superhero genre and ran with it.
Yeah.
And they're living in it, and that's why they became so popular, because it's exactly what people want.
Yeah. And people love anime, people love manga, people love comic books, people love superheroes. So to mesh them together makes a perfect
cohesive, like, it makes a good it makes sense.
Yeah.
It was about time.
Yeah.
Like, there's been superheroes
and they're doing
in
it
manga before, but not like in
they're
this.
Doing this very
on the nose.
Yeah.
Very, like,
very good, very successfully, very respectful towards the comic book.
Well, except
lore
sort of, but One Punch Man kind of pokes fun at it. It's like, what if
Superman was that's bored? More of a parody of.
But it's also really good because it gets serious sometimes. Yeah, it's good. One Punch
Man.
But
I mean, like, you have certain superheroes that, like, don't need to be superheroes, like the bike guy. Yeah, but then again, I'm sure in comic books you also have, like, ones that don't need to have
so it just,
a superhero name. They're not.
Yeah. But I mean, well, speaking on superheroes, you touched on you mentioned I did. You dropped Daredevil.
I name dropped Daredevil.
I'm going to topic drop Daredevil. So Daredevil recently got acquired. Because if anybody...
Be careful, though. I just started season 2.
I'm not going to go into spoilers. I just want to talk about this.
I just started season 2.
We're not talking... I don't think they can... But so Daredevil got picked up by Marvel Studios because Netflix had the show rights, I guess, or distribution rights, something like that, publication rights on TV. Netflix was airing all the Marvel shows. Mm-hmm. Until Disney Plus came... Then they're like, we announced this, we announced that, Then everybody, hold
There's
up.
no way that Daredevil, Punisher can be on Disney. I just don't see it. Like, they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't let...
Mandalorian is pretty dark, I hear.
Is it really? Well, I mean, if you look at all the Star Wars movies, they have dark elements to it.
There are some dark movies in the Disney Plus catalog.
Yeah, but they can't do it the way they do, like, Daredevil, the way it is. Or
well,
Punisher.
That's why I want to talk about it. So, that's what I want to talk about it. So, back then, I think it was like a couple years ago or 3 years ago, I don't remember, but Netflix announced that they weren't going to be doing any Marvel shows again. And so, like, Daredevil Season 3, that was it, got canceled. Punisher Season 2 dropped. It was just kept going on the list, and we were just like waiting. I'm like, fuck, they gonna cancel everything, and lo and behold, they cancel everything. So, but good news, fans. Marvel Studios, Marvel proper, are like, all right. They grabbed the gauntlet. It was like, if you don't want to do it, we'll do it ourselves. And they picked up Daredevil, and I'm sure they're going to eventually pick up every other show like Luke Cage, Iron Fist,
the
Punisher, Jessica Jones. All of them, I'm sure.
Is Black Lightning Marvel?
No, I see DC.
DC?
But shout out to Black Lightning, first Black hero. But
that's the next one I want to watch.
But okay, yeah, what? Okay. But going back on track.
Alright.
It got picked up again. The reason why it's also sort of like time relevant is because you're watching it. I saw season 1 and season 2. I have yet to see season 3 of Daredevil, and we're rewatching season 2 right now. She just finished season 1, and she also finished season 1 of Punisher. I haven't seen season 2 of Punisher.
My man.
So it's interesting that you brought up Disney and how you don't think it'll work.
I don't think it'll work. Listen, here's one of the things I think.
Go.
I know that they wanted to. Lizzie McGuire was in the talks of being renewed, right? Yeah. And then Hilary Duff said something about them canceling it because she wanted a bit more adult themes in it.
Yeah.
They didn't want that.
No.
This is Lizzie McGuire, one of the regular shows. Yeah. And just because she wanted a bit more adult things, because she's now an adult woman, and she's no longer like a 14, 13-year-old child in middle school, and she wanted, like, Lizzie McGuire was always about, I know this turned about Lizzie McGuire, but no, there's a point to this.
Bring it back.
But
just go.
Now that she is a, like, 30-year-old woman, like, she wanted it to be more realistic to that, where she's not going to live in this world of, like, childhood dramas and dilemmas and more adult themes. But they didn't want to do that, so I think... I could be wrong, and this might be no longer a problem. They, like, decided not to do the project. Whereas, like, if you have things like Daredevil and the Punisher, where they're extremely violent, there's a lot of blood, especially the Punisher. Like, it's about some guy who literally is dealing with, like, PTSD. They can't, they're not going to allow any of that stuff to happen. They're not going to let it to be genuinely... authentic to the source material anymore because they can't. Because they're going to be, well, this doesn't pass our radars. This isn't PG. We can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Literally in The Punisher, there's that scene in season 1. Because I just finished season 1 of that too. But where he is imagining him and his wife, and they're basically like having intercourse.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they would not be able to do that.
Sexy scene.
Yeah, they can't do these things. You always have...
Man, they just Disney bunch of bitches.
They're like, well, we are Disney. We appeal to children.
Disney.
But let's take over every single media. Let's take over all these shows.
Fox.
Which have more... PG 13, PG 17 type of more mature content, and they want to take over Fox that. Movies. And it's like if they were to have taken over Daredevil and Punisher and Jessica Jones and all these other ones. I haven't watched Jessica Jones. I haven't watched Luke Cage. Luke Cage? Is that right? Luke Cage. But I'm sure they also have...
Luke Cage is violent as well.
Violence and sexual content. Real.
They're all in our... Jessica Jones has sexual content. It has, violence. And they're all like that. Because they all fit under that category of, like, real nitty-gritty, like, real life, relatable superheroes,
So, like... They're nitty and gritty. They're dark. They're dark series, And I don't know how well Disney can take on real dark material like that. Like, I can see them taking over something like The Flash, TBH. I think that they can take The Flash and be all like, we can work with this.
But
Supergirl, we can work
DC.
with this.
DC, yeah.
I know, but I mean, like, those shows.
No, I see what you mean.
They can deal with those ones. But to deal with something like The Punisher, that's the one I'll go to because I just, like, that was extremely violent.
Uh-huh.
And, I mean, in season 2 of the Daredevil series that he's in so far, it's very violent for him, too. And
He's a violent character.
Didn't think that...
That's his nature.
It's true. He's a Punisher.
He fucking uses guns.
He's a Punisher. He does. He also has, like, his morals, like, the whole... Morals? Like, in that recent episode where we watched where he kills the pawn shop guy.
I love that moment. He just, like, the pawn shop's like, you don't want porn? I got ebony, I got this, I got that, I got...
And then he mentions...
Oh, maybe you into little girls. And then he locks the door and he has this little moment in his head because you know he's a fucking dad. Yeah, you know he don't fuck with that shit.
He's got moral.
He kills people, but at the end of the day, he's a dad. He's a guy who doesn't want to see, like, injustice. At the end of the day, he's serving his own dark version of justice. Yeah. I love that moment. Yeah, he turns around and fucks that guy up.
That would never have happened if it was a Disney.
Deservingly so. Fuck that dude.
But that, I think, is important to the character to see because, especially if you haven't seen Punisher yet and you're just introduced to him through Daredevil.
That's already, like, nuanced, yeah.
Like, that is needed to see that, oh, this man has...
He's not just fucking evil.
He's not evil. He has
a code.
A code.
Yeah.
He has the morals. He's, like... He's a gray character. He's not black and white.
Or white. Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't think that Disney has the balls to do these shows correctly. These shows right.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Do tell.
The Lizzie McGuire thing is interesting only because, and I'll touch on that right now, only because I think what they were expecting was to keep it PG because it's Lizzie McGuire.
Oh, kind of like The Raven.
Because it fits under that. I don't think, and I think they will eventually, I don't think they've released an adult channel for Disney Plus because I think it's still on the works. I think it's still growing. I just think Lizzie McGuire for them, they were like, listen, or at least this is what I'm gonna play. I just feel like this is what was going on. They were just like, listen, we can't. This isn't the character. Like, you just asking for a different show now. Like this, you know what I'm saying? You want to talk about adult stuff, we can. But at the end of the day, we can't have it be that explicit, this and that. Lizzie McGuire or Hannah, what her name?
Lizzie McGuire.
No, what's her name?
Hilary Duff.
Hilary Duff was probably like, nah, like, we need this to be, like, and they were probably like, no, we kids are gonna be watching this, you know what I'm saying? We haven't launched, like, you want this to be in the same vein, like, eventually we're gonna acquire Daredevil. You want this to be in the same vein as that? And they're like,
that's not what she wanted, though.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing where they were trying to, for them, it's this or that. I think acquiring. This is my theory. This is, if Disney, you're listening, use this, bruh. So this is my theory. This is my thing. Is right now they have a lot of child content, teen content. They don't have adult where Daredevil, Punisher, Jessica Jones, all them live. But I think they can easily do that. Why? Because they fucking bought Fox. And you know what Fox has? Alien, Predator, all these movies that are super dark. And those, you don't think they're going to want to have those streaming? They're gonna.
I think they do. Do they not?
I haven't seen them.
Sure. We have Disney Plus. We
Plus,
their
the Russo brothers, the same way they came in to Marvel Studios and was like, I know you guys owned by Disney, but like, let's throw in here some kills. Let's throw in here some darkness. Let's throw in here some and they did with the Infinity War, Infinity Gauntlet, like all of the Endgame is dark.
But even
they
there,
were all dark. They don't show you the
line.
blood. They show you the deaths, though. Somebody did a death toll, and there's a lot of deaths.
You can say that on a lot of movies.
The problem, no. The thing is, they don't show the blood. Yeah. That's the thing. That's the difference. if you were talking about showing the blood, then you become Daredevil Punisher. Because Daredevil, at the end of the day, still fits in that world. He's just dealing with the darker stuff. But at the end of the day, you see a lot of death in Avengers. There's just no blood.
But
that's the thing.
I feel like...
So they fall under that category. So that's where Disney's trying to understand. So I feel like Disney can release an adult, not adult, but like more mature content. Like, you know how YouTube has YouTube Kids, or, you know, there's just more categories that they can open up. I think Disney Plus. I think Disney. If Disney Plus is just this and not gonna go farther in the spectrum,
then they don't have any business.
You're shooting yourself in the foot, bro. You killing all the fans. You are going to, and this is my fear too, is that
they're gonna buy everything. And
not that. When Daredevil comes, and if it does come, they're going to change it to the sense that they're gonna dumb it down. There's not gonna be blood. You're still gonna see action. It's not gonna be bloody though. And that's my fear. Only because it's gonna lose its effect. The thing about Daredevil and Punisher, and the thing about them that is very refreshing opposed to like the Marvel movies, is that they show you the insides of a man. They show you the insides, you know what I mean? The blood of a woman. They show you all this shit that you can't see in the movies because they're PG-13 and they need families to watch this.
Like they show you
real shit. They show you
like Karen getting drugged to
narcotics,
get kidnapped.
Narcotics, human trafficking, gangs. They show you everything. The nuances there, and these heroes are dealing with it, and it's rough, but it's so entertaining because it's like this is an aspect that you clearly know exists, and you know damn well that the Avengers aren't going to be like narcotics. Nah, bro, you'll find Daredevil. You can handle that.
I mean, like they're in the same world, right? And who's the one taking care of things like that? Not the Avengers. It's Daredevil. The vigilantes like the Daredevil and the Punisher that are taking care of these underground.
So they are
rings.
important.
Yeah.
They're important in that sense, where they take care of that thing that's in that universe. So I think to take the blood out and all that things is kind of like taking away. It's also why I'm curious to see how Deadpool is gonna be, because Ryan Reynolds Disney wants to make a Deadpool movie. They want it, and you know what? If Deadpool 3 comes out, it's gonna come out, and we're gonna be super meta. But it's only gonna come out if you know what I mean. Like he's holding on to the character. So even though he's a Disney character now because they bought Fox, don't get twisted. Ryan Reynolds owns that kid. You know what I'm saying?
But it's interesting that character. He'll be like, no, that's not Daredevil. Yeah, not Daredevil. That's not Deadpool.
Yeah,
he wouldn't do that.
And that's the thing. In the comics,
which is what Lizzie McGuire was about, too.
There's balance. You know what I mean? You just got to have balls. You got to go for it. You
can't sugarcoat everything
bro.
In your Disney lens just because you have a Disney lens. Like, you can't do that. You can't erase these real worlds, these real problems that sometimes we do want to see get taken care of by a hero.
Well, there's a good demographic of people that do watch these things that are adults and that they want something like this.
It's made
for
adults.
There's a reason why the shows were successful because a lot of adults who used to read comics when they were kids want to see this. So it's important.
It goes back to be like, okay, you know, people are like, oh, comics and cartoons, those are for kids.
Nah, fam.
Not always. They're also for adults too. It's just Disney has a view of being on top of the food chain of animation, where it's like, oh, it is for kids. We are for kids. Like
the thing is, Disney.
Well, I'm not saying I hate Disney either. Like, gosh.
No, I don't.
We don't hate Disney.
We don't hate Disney.
I just don't want them to
I do know they're racist
things.
And whatever, but we don't hate Disney. They just have a history of it. And if you work for Disney, you doing a good job. You're
doing what you
fighting
can
the fight. I don't hate. Yeah, we don't hate Disney. It's just that
we want
with
them
a corporation
not to
that big.
Certain
With a corporation that big, they have a lot of regulations. They have a lot of things that they can't do because they're trying to keep a PR, publicity.
They want it to be viewable by everyone. Literally, They want your kids to be watching, you to be watching. Like, they don't want to just put it in like a rating.
But even in the times we're living in now, with everything that's going on in the world, watching Daredevil, I'm not gonna lie, gets my fix a little bit, because it's like, that's the kind of hero I want to see right now.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't want to see Captain America talk about this and that.
I want to see
Daredevil,
the real hero.
I want to see Daredevil break a motherfucker's arm, because that motherfucker deserved it. I want to see the Punisher explicitly exploit the police department because he knows that these motherfuckers are
corrupt
dogs of the military or the government. You know what I mean? Like,
I want to see like.
This is important shit that sometimes, you know what I mean, is talking about important shit. And that's my only fear, is that Disney will censor it because they have a PR prerogative.
Yeah.
And that's my only fear. I'm excited because Daredevil's coming back. And I would love to see him with Spider-Man and all that. But
that's what I want.
But I'm nervous because Disney, bro.
I want to see the same Daredevil we're watching right now.
Yeah, don't censor it, bro.
I just want a season 4 of what we're watching.
Yeah, it's just, that's my fear, especially with Punisher. Punisher's worse than Daredevil. I mean, Daredevil you could easily like.
I feel like you can't.
Well, Punisher
just
don't even
bring
it, bro. If you're not gonna do that, like, that'd be a disservice to John Bernthal. John Bernthal might not even do it. They, like, you know what I mean? Some of these actors might even disagree. They might just be like, this isn't what we built.
Yeah.
You know?
This isn't the storyline that we wanted. This is not. You can even be like, oh, they might look at the source material and change it
like
completely.
X-Men too. X-Men was dark. The movies were dark. It's not, you know what I mean? Like, how are you gonna... That's my fear too, is like also bringing in the X-Men in the Marvel Studios. They're gonna sugarcoat it.
Oh,
obviously.
shoot. That means that Wolverine is theirs now too.
Well,
Wolverine is dark.
Wolverine has always been a Marvel hero. He's always been he's always.
But have his movies been?
No, not the
Disney?
movies, obviously. But I meant like the character himself. So it could work. But yeah, Wolverine himself is also violent.
Yeah.
So.
I mean,
The thing is,
I know what they're doing. They want these high-priced characters so that they can bring them, make movies and whatnot, and just like, you know, cash off of them, cash cows. They want them for that reason. But I think you have to be respectful towards who and what these characters are, because you can't just be all like, I want you so I can make money off of you, but I need to change your story. I need to change how you are as a character. Punisher will just make you, you know,
rubber bullets.
Rubber bullets.
From now on, you're using rubber bullets.
No death.
You're aiming on the ground.
No anger.
At the ground.
No more PTSD. No more of that stuff. Just.
You can have PTSD, but we can't talk about it.
Yeah.
Just act it. You know, that nuance that you bring into the character, act it out. They'll know. We don't have to show it. We don't have to show it. We don't have to show it. Yeah, it's just.
They need to stay respectful towards the source material of these things. They need to keep these characters who they are instead of slapping a Disney persona on them. And that's what I'm worried about, how they're taking control of all of these series and all these characters and stuff like that, because you know they just want money. But
that's why I want Marvel Studios proper to handle the shows. And I want Disney Plus to be like, okay, well, if it works, it works.
We'll put you guys under our name, but, you know.
Just make the thing that it, you know what I mean? Because the thing is, if you're a corporation head and you own Marvel, you gotta think. These characters were doing big numbers on Netflix because of this reason. You guys can make a bombshell by bringing them back. A lot of people want to see them. And bring them back in proper form. You're gonna get a lot of views on Disney Plus.
People will go there because they can get the
But if you censor
there.
it, the moment it comes on, here's the thing: the moment Daredevil comes on Disney Plus, there's gonna be a boom of people watching it.
And it's either gonna be good reviews or bad
and
reviews.
And if it's censored, that boom's gonna drop off, and the people are just gonna what? They're gonna talk shit because Disney. Disney just censored my show. But if they don't censor it, imagine all the people, the word of mouth that you'll get from all the people being like, dude, Daredevil's back. and it's back, and it's better than ever.
And it's on Disney Plus.
And it's on Disney Plus.
If they only had like Netflix before,
bro, imagine
buy Disney Plus.
The demographics that you'll pull in.
Yeah.
Of like people that be like, bro, you gotta get Disney Plus. It's just, and they'll be like, I don't know, like I don't got kids, bro. You don't need kids. Daredevil season 4.
The Punisher.
Like all the people that you would get Disney Plus that aren't Disney suckers, they'll be Disney suckers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like it's gonna be
so long as they do right, because if they put the Daredevil up there and season 4 episode 1 is a sugar-coated shell version of the show.
I don't want it to happen, but it's gonna
happen. First episode will have views, but everything from there is going to be dropped, and not as many, because people will drop the show and just
people would sympathy watch it. Yeah. They'll like watch it because it's like, well, I like the character, I like the series.
But it's gonna have bad reviews and bad like ratings on it.
To start off.
Yeah.
Yeah. It might be a good show later on and might have good things, but to start off, if they don't follow suit, there's gonna be a lot of negativity.
It's just there's gonna be things that they could have done if they weren't being censored. That is probably gonna be like groundbreaking, but will never happen because Disney might not. Well,
that's the thing with Daredevil and Punisher when they first came out. Like when Daredevil first came out, it was seen as groundbreaking, as different, because it really was different.
It's Marvel and it feels like DC.
Well, because
I love that.
Well,
I love that.
Yeah, it's. I wouldn't say it feels like DC.
No,
I mean,
it feels gritty and dark. That's what I mean.
If that's, I guess.
Marvel is full of like superheroes. Like
the thing is, I don't want to be that person and be like, yeah, nah, they copying DC, because Marvel has an umbrella of characters that are dark. You know what I mean? That they can.
But I feel like the ones you see, like obviously Spider-Man has his own backstory that's pretty dark. They all do, but. You know, the way Disney portrays them in their movies and whatnot is less dark than you would see in like the DC universe. And I thought all of the Marvel characters were kind of like that. So to see like the Punisher and Daredevil, I was all like, well, this doesn't feel like the Marvel world to me, because this is what I was used to seeing. Because I'm not like a huge fan of the comics because I've never read them, but I have seen. Obviously, the movies that Disney puts out and they pump out.
The Marvel Studios.
Yeah, MCU. I've seen those, and I've seen the Spider-Man movies too. Before I guess they were a part of Disney.
Yeah.
And they have a certain feeling to them that you don't get when you're like watching like The Dark Knight or something like that. And sometimes like the realness of that nitty-gritty lifestyle, which is real life, is just refreshing to see that it also is a Marvel thing. It's just nice to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just scared that Disney's gonna pussyfoot around it and create what they think is acceptable for them, and not what the series are. That's what I just worry about.
Same. That's why I want to talk about it, because I think it is very interesting in that aspect, because excited because it's coming back. Nervous because I realized that they're probably going to put it on Disney Plus, and what does that exactly mean for the show and for the possibilities of the Defenders coming back, or even if any of them can come back, or even Punisher, if we'll ever see him again, you know?
I hope we do. I don't want him to be... He my man, you guys. The Punisher. He'd be punishing those cops. I'm like, yes.
But
like they would not have Fisk. How would they have that character? That's why
they brought Daredevil in it. Fisk is a very important character.
No, I mean like in like Disney World. Like in like
What do you mean?
Like
what are you talking about? Punisher or Daredevil?
I'm just talking about Fisk as a Wilson Fisk as a character.
What about him?
Disney, I feel like he wouldn't be in like the Avengers like movies.
No, but he would be up against your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, because that's the main villain. That's where he first appeared in the comics, was your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man's comic. I think number 31, issue, or I don't remember. But
I just don't think that Disney would have like did him justice the way they did in the Daredevil show. But that's just me.
No, you're not wrong. He probably would have been this like
a mustache twirling
villain against Spider-Man who like is like, I own gains, instead of like.
But they wouldn't say what like drugs and stuff he's like
he'll
pushing.
just have a group of mobsters.
Yeah.
You know, they won't talk about how he's actually running the streets. How he has
corrupting
a different
the police.
division. He owns, you know, like his corporation owns, and he can buy out police. He can buy out, you know, he's selling human trafficking. He's selling drugs in order to replenish the city, is what he says.
They probably wouldn't have his backstory as touched on either, like about him murdering his father, like.
Yeah. So.
Because if you okay, like you said once before we were going to sleep, that Thanos is basically like Fisk, like they are similar.
They're very similar in the sense. What I said was like they're both characters that scare me, in the sense that what Joker has is he scares me because
he's a clown.
No, yes, but he scares me more so than that because you don't fucking know what he's gonna do. Like if he existed today, you don't know what he's gonna do. He's chaotic. He doesn't have a plan. If you look at him weird, he's just gonna laugh as he's killing you, and that's fucking scary. He could be under your bed. He could be in your closet. He's just a demonic person, like it's scary.
Yeah.
The thing that scares me on the other side about Thanos and Fisk is because they have a gray area that we can relate to. Mm-hmm. And the relatability, relatability that you can have with these characters is scary. Why? Because you know that the characters are wrong. You know that the characters are morally corrupt. Mm-hmm. You know that the characters are doing things that you wouldn't do if you're a good person, because you know that it's not correct. It's not the right thing to do. It's not heroic. It's not just the good thing to do. It's evil. It's bad. And to see them be vulnerable is scary, because that means you can relate to them. And being able to relate to a villain kind of freaks me out. You know what I mean? It's just this weird sort of feeling. And so I got that when I was saw Thanos, and I definitely got that when I was watching Daredevil and I saw Fisk.
More so with Fisk, because...
Yeah.
Like, his trauma... I don't remember exactly, like, if Thanos' background is touched on, or even if he has a background that explains why he does what he does. Like, I don't remember, and I don't know if
He's a conqueror. So, in the comics, Thanos, I think, appears in Silver Surfer, I believe, or I might be wrong. But he doesn't become a threat to the Avengers until he reaches the Infinity Gauntlet. But he essentially was a... He essentially was... So, what Silver Surfer is... I'm going to go into a little geek history. What Silver Surfer is this sort of vessel that... what's his face? Galactus uses. Galactus is this character that's this giant character that eats worlds. So Thanos was one of his underlings before Silver Surfer, who would take him and preempt a world for him to take over. The thing was, Thanos got power hungry and wanted to be one of the... He essentially was like Frieza. You know what I mean? Okay. He wanted to be like that. A pirate, you know what I mean? Like, taking over planets, cleansing the world. Yeah. His backstory... In Avengers, I believe his family or his
world
family got destroyed or something, and he saw that destruction was necessary, and so in order to bring balance to the universe, he wanted to destroy half of it. That was his conclusion.
Like, now, what I was trying to say is like, okay, that's his background, right? And that's very vague.
I just don't remember. I would have to fucking watch. We would have to watch Infinity War and Endgame again, because they do show it. I just don't remember.
But like, now think of Fisk's background in Daredevil, where Fisk sees his dad more creepy. Beating his mom.
Fisk is way more creepy because that
his dad was abusive towards him, and he kills him with his own hands.
Yeah, with his own hammer. Yeah, he pulls out a hammer. It's like, stop.
Like. Those two different backstories for two characters that are kind of similar. Like, I understand more how Fisk became the way he is than I would have understood like Thanos. And Fisk is more scary to me than Thanos is because of his background and because of how he became, and obviously because he's more human than Thanos seems. But I think that just the way Disney would tell the backstory of Thanos as being like
they tiptoed around some stuff.
They tiptoed around
only
it.
Because you know that the Russo brothers wanted to go full. They apparently like shot a lot, and the whole film was surrounded about Thanos, the first one, Infinity War, and yeah, it was about him. It was about the villain, and so I just think because we saw him more, you sort of, and his relationship with Gamora. That's the one that sort of got me a little weird because he actually cared, which was weird to me. Not weird as in bad weird as in like, you care? Like, what the fuck?
Thanos, what you doing caring?
Yeah, so, but just like with Fisk and his girl,
Vanessa,
you know, in the show he becomes vulnerable.
But I think he's always been vulnerable if you think about it, because he says later on he didn't do what he did for his mom, but in a way he did it for his mom.
Well, yes, yes.
So he's cared. He's
but
obviously
that was his birth of his, you know,
weird.
who he was as a king to become Kingpin.
But imagine Daredevil is done in the regards of like say the Avengers movies. Fisk's backstory would not have been touched upon the way it has been in the series if it was done by them.
Most definitely.
So you lose parts of these characters, which is unfortunate because you say they tiptoed around Thanos' background, and it could have been more detrimental. Is that the word? Towards seeing him as more
detrimental. Is bad.
What is the word I'm looking for?
Supplemental, I guess.
It would have been more enlightening
towards
his character, in seeing him as a more rounded villain with, like you said, like he cares about Gamora. To see his background in its full entirety, with all the dark parts and all the shadows of what life really can do to you. If Disney was able to do that, like it could have made him caring about Gamora and having these like humanistic feelings. Like
that's the thing is bringing that made me think right now about like how people after they watched Infinity War and Endgame were like, this is like Thanos became part of the ether and everybody was like, he's the best villain, and he beat Joker recently, I think in a poll or something, for the most scariest villain or best villain.
Listen,
but
I think that Fisk is terrifying.
I was about to say Fisk is a way better villain.
He's a way better villain than Thanos.
Only because I just think,
dude, his fist be hella big and he be just crushing people's heads with a bam. Like Thanos is like some kind of alien thing. Fisk is a human. He doesn't even have superpowers. He's just a big ass guy.
Hey, big ass dude.
He's just hella big and he's hella smart and he's ruthless. And he's got his own agenda, and he's got his own, like, morals.
We can make a solid argument that Fisk is a way better villain and a way better perpetuated villain in the show than Thanos was in the movies.
Yeah.
I just think it was this. This was what made people think, oh, shit.
That isn't Thanos, though.
No,
anyone could have done that.
It is Thanos, because he's the one. No, I mean, like, you know.
The snap?
Yeah, getting rid of half of the population.
Yeah, but that's because that's what his goal was.
I know. That's why he was a good villain, because he accomplished his goal. He won. That's why. That's the argument I'm saying that people are using.
Anyone could have done that. It doesn't have to be.
But what I'm saying is, in the movies, if you actually do some...
Don't watch my movie.
Watch my movie. But in the movies, if you... Tommy, if you... Disney if you watch the movies and actually, like, critically analyze the character, he's very well done. but I wouldn't say he's the best villain of our pop culture. I would just say he's the best Marvel villain
in the Marvel movies
that they've shown us.
Because
Wilson Fisk is, you can make an argument that dude is a way better villain, and also, I mean,
he's also the villain to Spider-Man. It's just
I get it that Thanos won, but as far as like the material, he's not as scary to me as Fisk. That's what I equate a good villain, like somebody that you know what I mean? He may not win, but he'll always be there, and he'll never stop. You know, like Thanos, he's done. After he did that, he can sit in peace.
Yeah, he was just a little farmer boy.
You know.
After he did what he did.
But Fisk is a ruthless.
Fisk will never be happy until he
owns everything.
Owns the city and changes things in his way. And it's not about destroying half the population.
It's about destroying all of New York and then rebuilding it.
Yeah. His isn't about, let me get rid of them all and then just sit and, like, garden and whatnot. He's like, let me do this and then create a world that I can run in my own manner and my own beliefs.
Yeah.
And then keep it aligned. He would not stop. I think he's still, I'm only on season 2 of Daredevil, but I'm pretty sure he's running things just like, what's his name, Diego? No, what's his name in more Narcos?
Alejandro Gallardo?
No, the guy who, is that his name?
Diego Luna's character?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how they say
Alejandro
eventually,
Gallardo.
When he's in jail, he still runs things?
How they say? You mean the actual thing that he actually
the
does
real
for a
thing
minute?
that he really does?
Until they take over his cartel.
Until El Chapo.
El Chapo! Hey, El Chapo, wey! Entra El Chapo.
But I believe he's running things in jail still. And, like, Thanos literally just steps to the side.
I don't want to spoil anything.
Don't spoil anything. But he just steps to the side. And I think Fisk is a much better character and scarier villain than Thanos. That might be hot take. Might be hot take, you guys.
I honestly don't think so. From a story perspective, I don't think so.
And I'm talking about Kingpin or Fisk from Daredevil, not like Fisk that was featured
even in the comics, he's a really good villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a very like if they do him right, if he do him right, he's a very interesting character. Very plausible villain. Him and this is the villain I want them to bring for the next Spider-Man movie. Kraven. Very interesting Spider-Man characters because they're both very dark, and that's what makes them that's what makes them still popular. Because at the end of the day, Fisk doesn't have powers, but he's fucking
strong.
Intense.
And he's
Kraven
smart.
Kills. And I just want him to come in the third movie because I want to see Kraven's hunt, bruh. Now that everyone knows Spider-Man's identity, who can come out of the shadows and hunt him? Kraven, boy. Let's go.
Kraven is the one that's like.
He's got like this fur.
Yeah, he's like a he almost looks
like a assassin, if you will. Like
he looked like a not prehistoric, like a caveman.
Yeah, kind of, but it's more like a jacket, like a very puffy yeah.
I thought it was like wolf skin.
It is, but it's like a jacket too.
Because in the game we have in Sinister 6, he looks like he's.
Oh, he's in it. Oh, yeah.
Kraven,
well,
he has a sword. Nice.
I didn't remember he was in it. Yeah. But he's a sick villain, dude. Yeah.
But yeah, I just think that Disney might not have the balls to pull off a genuine Daredevil. And I'm scared, and I hope, knock on wood, that's not true. But that is a fear. That is a fear.
I mean, it's a plausible fear. That's why I wanted to bring it up, because it's actually like.
Has it been confirmed that the same cast is coming back for it, or do we?
I'm pretty sure, because they just picked it up.
Oh, they didn't. Well, sometimes they pick something up and they're like, we're casting.
They might recast one character, but I think for the most part, I don't think anybody wants to see the guy who plays there. Anyone else played that guy's good. I don't think they want to see. You know what I mean? These characters to be done are
that's different. I don't want like
good actors, dude. If they drop them, they'd be dumb, honestly.
I'll be so mad if they have the Punisher in there and he's not John or whatever his name is.
Oh yeah, John Bernthal. Yeah, he does a really good job.
So good.
Just like
guys, he left The Walking Dead to be on that. Like
he has this face where he just looks. Yeah, he's good. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. I'm very curious. It piqued my interest, and especially because we're rewatching it. I'm rewatching Daredevil. You're watching it for the first time. It's very hard for me to like say anything about it because I know what's going on in season 2. Season 2 is some of my favorite shit from TV. I'm excited for you to experience it. It's really good.
Listen, I was so mad in season 1 when Fisk kills John. Is that his name? Ben? Yeah. When he killed Ben?
I didn't want to. That was the one thing when the series started where I was like, fuck. I just remembered what happened that made me upset. And I don't want to talk about it.
I was so mad, guys. I was seething.
Every time I think about it, it gets me upset too. And it's just like that. What a good character he was. Yeah. And he died.
Spoilers if you
Fisk killed that motherfucker.
See, even that, like, Fisk breaks into this character's house, which you're like, oh, this is just an innocent man.
He was like,
that's my mother.
But my mother. He was like, you brought my mother into this. And I was just like, this motherfucker's and he's all like, kill him.
I'm gonna kill you.
He's like, I didn't come here to send you a threat. I came to kill you. And he just kills him, bro.
Like, he strangles this old man to death, guys.
Bro.
And I'm like, Thanos be scary, but this man literally looks like the devil is inside of it. And not the Daredevil, but the devil is in him while he's, like, strangling and ruthless. And he, like... But he has these, like, really intimate moments where he cares about certain characters.
This boy cooking omelets.
He cooking omelets every morning. He like, getting ready in the morning.
Yeah, he cooking his omelet.
Takes his little, like, scallions and sprinkles it with a little salt.
A little Salt Bae action, then eats his little thing with his long table that he sits by himself at. Mm-hmm. Like, this boy's so interesting, man.
He goes through his closet.
He wakes up every morning, looks up above his bed and sees a painting that he bought, which is nothing.
Only because it reminds him of his childhood.
Of his wall.
No, like the wall his dad made him stare at. And there's, like, these little things that is just, like, so important in, like...
The story?
Story-wise and just humanizing about him. That's terrifying to think he can go and he can do the things he does. He literally had the freaking FBI or whatever, like, infiltrated by, like, whatever. No, I think it was, like, he didn't buy them off. He had people in there that was a part of his group.
No, I think
because not everyone was.
No, exactly. I think he bought some off.
Yeah, he doesn't buy off the entire police force or the entire FBI.
Because
he picks people, and he's just all like, they're on my side. And that's so scary, especially in, like, reality now, where it's like, it seems...
It just reminds me of Narcos.
People
of how, like, fucked up the Mexican government is.
Which we're learning is, which we've all known for a while, is kind of how American police is, and, like, how Trump... And look, well, that's another conversation for another day. But it's just... I don't know, there's just something more terrifying about Fisk than Thanos in my eyes. And I feel like...
It's because he's real.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he could be a guy.
He could be
somebody that's existing today that we don't know about. Because at the first season of Daredevil, they never showed him until a certain point. Mm-hmm. Until they say his name.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want people to know him. He wants to run shit from the shadows.
Yeah. And then he gets dragged into out of the shadows.
Damn near, bruh, that there's people like that in the real world. Yeah. So that's what's scary.
So I would argue that he's a scarier villain than Thanos. And I would say that his character is just a more interesting one than Thanos. That's my opinion. I know a lot of people love Thanos.
I love Thanos.
You love Thanos.
But I would concede, you know what I'm saying? Also, how dare you dethrone my boy Joker? My boy Joker, the best villain of all time, bruh.
That's true, you
Ain't
guys.
nobody touching Joker, bruh.
Literally.
Nobody touching Joker, bruh.
But who would win? If
Joker
you put
gonna
Thanos
look.
against
Go,
the
Joker gonna look at Thanos and be like, "You pussy," and then just kill everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Batman, because he wants Batman to be alive.
He needs him.
He needs him. You complete me. Batman will be like, "Why am I still alive?" And then Joker will be like,
I need you.
"I need you."
But yeah, I just worry about Disney having these rights to these shows and doing them not justice.
Because I want to see Moon Knight. Moon Knight was announced to come to Netflix. It's another character of Marvel. He's like Batman, but he wears like a white suit. And he's very dark. Yeah, he's kind of like Batman. Just imagine Batman with a white suit. That's Moon Knight.
I love these dark shows.
And that's what they were gonna bring in on. Yeah. So, and also, what are we gonna see with Legion? That was owned by Fox. Very dark show too. X-Men show. I don't even know if it's still going on. Aubrey Plaza's in it. Like,
I'm just wondering if
all
Disney
these things
is
that
thinking,
Disney owns.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Because I know they just
like get on it,
having
bro.
all
Have
these characters.
people on this shit. You know. But it
just seems so rude to me to be like, well, these shows are already in the middle of being created, but you know what? I'm Disney. I'm gonna buy these out, and then forces them to be canceled when they're like successful shows, successful characters with a fan base.
I don't even know what's
already.
going on with Legion right now. I don't know if it's canceled or not, but people were talking mad shit about it. Not bad shit, but good shit. Like mad, like oh shit, this shit good. And it's dark, so like, and it's like, what are you gonna do about those properties? Like that's my thing also with this whole Disney Plus. It's like,
yeah, what are
or
your
just
plans
Disney
with them?
owning all them, you know?
Or do they just want to own them, and they can like?
No.
They
That
would
corporate,
just have the
They're
rights.
going to have.
They have to make something out of them, right? Like they have to. You can't just have these sitting in your pocket.
I just don't think they've announced a division that's gonna handle it.
I think they need a more PG, not PG, but like NC-17. NC? Is that right, you guys? Is that right?
M for mature or whatever, rated R.
Well, no, because there's a rated R and then there's 17, which is still
NR-17.
I think it's NC or NR-17.
Yeah,
something
whatever.
like that. It's that one that's like not rated R, but it's not for kids. It's not.
It says more than 2 fucks. It says like 5 fucks.
Yeah.
It says bitch in there. It says
you can
shit.
show butt probably.
You know, you probably show 1 titty.
Yeah, they need something like that so that they can handle these darker subjects that they are buying from these other companies.
Yeah. But we'll see what happens.
I guess
We'll see if they can do something good.
TBA, to be C, to be talked about when it
TBV,
is revealed.
to be viewed.
To be revealed.
TBR, TBV,
TBR.
TB, whatever. Wow, we hit the 2-hour mark.
We did.
Is there anything you want to talk about?
I don't know. We can go on for hours, Jose.
But I know. But like, is there anything right now that you're like, ah, shit, I want to talk about this?
Bro, I always want to talk about Buffy, and we were discussing Buffy last night.
More like she was telling me shit about Buffy.
Yeah.
It was less of a discussion and more about you telling me shit about Buffy.
I love Buffy, you guys. I'm a huge fan of Buffy. Always have been. She was my childhood hero. I didn't know much about superheroes, but I knew about Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You know, I was scared of like vampires and just dead things as a child. I was scared to go to the freaking like cemeteries. I was scared to like get out of the car because it's like I'm walking on dead people. And then I'm like, what if they haunt me? And all this. And I was like a child, you guys. And my mom was all like, you know what? Do you want to watch this show? And she put on Buffy for me. And I was all like, she'll protect me. And she is my hero. And she's a superhero, you guys. Like, she is a superhero. And
I was checking if it was still recording.
she's a superhero that isn't DC and she isn't Marvel. However, she is created by a guy who has directed a lot of Marvel, possibly DC 2 movies.
She's like Dark Horse, I think. She's published by Dark Horse Comics.
Well, her comics are, but she originally was a movie, then she was a TV show, and then they just carried it on in a comic.
Yeah.
But she's like one of my first heroes, and she's like part of that rare group of like female superheroes that you know, has superpowers that are bestowed.
Like Wonder Woman?
Yeah, but hers are bestowed upon her. I was reading online because I was all like, what was I saying was right last night? And she, apparently, it's renowned for bringing back those long storylines in a TV show where it's like, that might have came out wrong, but like, the series is where like it takes an entire
overarching story that they're gonna get to at the end.
Yeah, it brought back that in a TV show. So where like, you know, season 1 has it's season 1, you guys, but season 2 has a big bad, and they focus on that throughout the entire series, and you don't get a resolution until the end, and that goes on until the 7th season. And then they said that Buffy is one of those shows that brought that back into the mainstream, like, television. Because I guess it went away for a while until, like, the 90s. But, which, you know, made it able for Supernatural to do that, too. Yeah. Which Jose really likes Supernatural.
Love Supernatural.
We can go into a debate about how Supernatural and Buffy are similar, but Supernatural has gone on way too long compared to Buffy. But
it's over.
Yeah, but it's been on for so many years.
Listen, for reasons that so many people like it. Like, it's just, if Buffy, I think Buffy could have continued for long.
Mm-hmm.
I think it honestly could have. But the circumstances it was at at the time didn't allow it for it to be that. But it is living
probably
on.
at the time.
You know what I mean? It is living on.
Yeah.
In the comics, much like Supernatural will from now on in DC the vault that DC has where Supernatural's comics are in and shit like that. They'll always live on. Stories will always be told about them. But yeah, Supernatural went on for a long time, dude. I think Buffy would have done the same thing, honestly. Maybe. If it was on CW, and I
actually think eventually it would have ended, but
because CW listens to the fans. So if the fans want a certain character to be there, they'll keep that character. If fans want the series to keep going, they'll be like, but we'll give it another shot, another season, let's go.
True, especially because Buffy ended a couple years before CW started.
Imagine if Buffy was started on CW, all the fans would have been like, you need to keep it going, fuck this character. It would have been a way different animal. So it would have lived far, maybe even farther than Supernatural, honestly. But definitely it would have hit that Supernatural mark.
I mean, they talk about things like, oh, we could reboot it, being that like in the last season.
They could. I mean, they could.
Well,
also
they could do
come
it
out
with
with
a different. They can do it with a different Slayer being where the story is, because
that's the
last season.
That's the thing about I think.
Huh? Is someone screaming? Did you hear that?
Yeah, someone's screaming. You know what I'm saying? There's always people screaming.
Oh yeah, we live on like.
We live like we live somewhere.
We live somewhere, and there's a lot of homeless people sometimes, and sometimes they be screaming.
Sometimes people be screaming. You know
but like where the series ended, it's very easy, I think, for them to also just pick it back up and create.
I don't know that. I don't know anything about Buffy, but what I do know from what you've told me and from what I see, it's one of those stories that it's like.
I really want you to watch it.
It's one of those stories that it's like seems like it could live on forever, because it's one of those things that's like, it's like one for all. We pass it on to the next person, pass it on, and you could have so many different stories. It's like Doctor Who. They could really just keep it being like Doctor Who.
They really could. I mean, like,
I don't see why not, honestly.
That's why I think they talk about like spin-offs all the time, where it doesn't have to be Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It could just be the Vampire Slayer, because Slayer is chosen every, like, they could even do one from the past. It doesn't have to be Buffy. It could be like one of these older, like, century. Like, I recently bought.
It could be Vampire Slayer, the Vampire Slayer.
And you just follow a different story.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah. I mean, I don't see why not.
I still want you to watch it, though.
I don't see why not. I think they could do it. I think it would be interesting. Yeah.
He's not very interested.
I don't know.
Buffy,
I don't know shit about Buffy, bruh. I don't know what else to talk about.
He hasn't seen it. I'm gonna get him to watch it though. But if you guys have any like things about Buffy you guys want to talk to me about, hit me up. I love Buffy. I'm down to talk about Buffy all the time.
You're asking a whole bunch of people to hit you up?
And talk
Damn,
about
girl.
Buffy. No, not like that.
Damn, girl.
No.
Damn.
That's all I was just want to put my little 2 cents in about Buffy and just put it out there in the ether that she a great superhero too.
I think people know that. There's a lot of people that like Buffy.
That's true. She's got
Buffy,
a cult following.
the
She
Vampire
is
Slayer
a
has
classic.
a very strong fan.
She's a classic
fan base.
superhero in her own
Eventually,
right.
they're gonna bring it back as a movie or as a short series, like Sabrina, the Teenage Witch. Mm-hmm. They're gonna bring it back
somehow.
I think Netflix will either bring it back or as a movie, like I said. But I believe it would come back.
Sarah Michelle Gellar said it won't be with her, but they could very well bring it back.
Well, no, they won't bring it back with her.
Yeah,
they just won't.
She's too old.
Well, either they're just going to leave it in where it's at, that one, and then start anew.
That's what I want.
It's been too long. They're not gonna go back to that.
I'm gonna have Jose watch it, and then eventually maybe we can have a conversation about it.
Yeah. So, hit the marks for this podcast. Before I end this whole thing out, I do want to say that thank you guys for listening to this podcast and also the podcast before this one. I will catch you guys in the next podcast episode. If you guys want to support me, if you guys want to support the movement that's going on right now with defunding the police or just in general Black Lives Matter, go to my website, RevxTV.com. That's RevoArt.com. Whatever money I make from my website, from RevoArt.com, RevxR.com, whatever money I make, I will be donating it to Black Lives Matter or
a different
any local community-based organization that's trying to help their community by making a change and talking to officials and actual people to get things done. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I just think it's important right now. I don't want to sit back and not do anything. And if I can earn anything, I want it to be given because I'm at a place right now where it's fine where I'm at. So if you guys want to help by there, you can do that.
Guys, also sign petitions if you can. And if you feel safe enough to go to these rallies, they are still happening. Find one in wherever you are or anywhere close to you. And keep fighting that fight out there, guys.
And they're still happening. They just won't show it in the news. They won't show it on TV.
You know about that
they won't
algorithm.
Show it on anything.
They be changing it so that it's less seen. But keep fighting the good fight. Things will change.
And I know
you gotta make it.
I know there's a lot of people that can't. So that's why I'm offering this up. If you want to support me, but also support the movement, like I said, you can help doing that. If you're just like, fuck you, bro. Just go directly to blacklivesmatter.com and donate there. They are trying their best to help everyone around the world. It's a big community. If not, look up your local organizations
or
learn about your community.
Yeah, or if you want to, in the description below, you can put that link to that channel where if you listen to it, their proceeds will also be.
I don't know
donated.
100% if that's a thing, but I just know directly I can do it. So if you want to directly donate, that's the options I'm giving you. There is a YouTube channel or video where I guess you listen to it. It's like free music or whatever, lo-fi or not, well, ISK, and they run ads. And if you don't skip any of the ads, if you just stick with the ads, click on them, maybe the revenue that apparently is made from there that they gain on their YouTube channel will be donated directly again to the movement. So you could do that as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it has been a fun episode, yo. And that's going to be it for today.
Hope you enjoyed it.
We'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.
It was fun. Until the next time. Bye-bye.